This event is a very special, pivotal moment in the history of two companies that have become one. And so it's all about how do they move forward as a collective, conjoined and sort of passionately united group, which were once upon a time two different groups. So in a way, the metaphor of the conductor-orchestra relationship, or the way that orchestras work like perfect teams, even though it's illogical that they should be able to do so, upwards of 100 people all working in perfect synchronicity. You know, if you said to a Martian, oh, this is an orchestra and this is how it works, the Martian would probably say, well, knowing what I do of human beings, that's actually not possible. To create that kind of degree of synchronicity and of unity in a large group of people. So I suppose that's what this event is all about doing, the brave new world of these two companies that have come together. Well, it's quite an exciting moment, this, I think, in the trajectory of two very distinct companies that have come together. As you know, they've just recently become one big conglomerate. And the question is, how do they move forward from here? These two companies are very distinct identities. How are they now going to work in perfect synchronicity and synergy with each other? And I suppose the reason why they asked me to come is because I conduct orchestras, and orchestras sort of illogically work in perfect synchronicity. You've got upwards of 100 people on a stage. Think about it, much more than in a football team. Football team is just 11 players, and arguably they don't work very well as a team, often. So how come upwards of 100 people can do it in the context of a symphony orchestra? And the conductor's job is all about kind of creating an environment within which those 100-odd people can shine and can work collectively towards a common and passionately sort of universally held goal. So I suppose what these two companies that have become one here are looking to do is it's something of what an orchestra does, to find that synergy, to find that unity of purpose going forward. Do you know, I find it really stimulating. I don't spend much time in the corporate world. I'm usually with symphony orchestras. And so for me, just occasionally to walk through a little kind of door at the end of the garden into a slightly different arena, which is made up of people who are no different from me or the people I normally work with, but think of themselves as different. These are people whose expertise is in a very different area of life from mine, in theory, and yet the reality is, of course, we have everything in common. So the relationship that I have with my orchestral musicians, the relationship they have with me, the trust that we have to have between all of us to make things healthy and work well holistically, is no different from what happens or is needed in an environment like this. So actually, it's very stimulating for me to be in an environment with people who don't think they're musical, but who've got all the same issues that I have in my day job. I think trust is the single most fundamental ingredient in every human relationship, whether it's with your parent, whether it's with your child, with your friend, with any colleague at work, or in any kind of environment. If there isn't trust, then nothing flourishes. It's as simple as that. So God knows this now, newly united, two former companies, one major new company, they really need to trust each other. And look, I'm sure they do. But if there's one thing that this conference must be about, it must be about promoting a sense of zeal and a sense of collectivity born out through trust. So members of one former company looking across the fence, as it were, the members of the other former company, genuinely trust them and believe that they've got common ground and that they can work and they can find traction together. Well, rather beautifully, at the start of tomorrow, I'm going to do what I normally do. In other words, I'm going to conduct some orchestral musicians, because to carry the metaphor further of the unity, which is an absolute fundamental ingredient of any successful orchestra, with the unity that this new, enlarged and amalgamated company needs to find and to make flourish within its culture, we're actually going to have several musicians sort of secreted around the audience so that no one will know they're there. And then suddenly a violinist will just spring up and start playing. And then magically a French horn will spring up in another part of the room and start playing. And of course they will lock together in perfect harmony. So it's this sense of different voices coming together with a common cause, a common purpose, a common sense of beauty, harmony, consonance. And gradually more and more musicians join in, and this beautiful, great whirlpool of gorgeous, sort of very perfumed sound will emerge. And that's the opening of the day. It's a lovely way to start. Oh, I think the audience will be totally blown away by it, because it's very emotive music. It gradually builds up. It's got the kind of slow burn crescendo. It whips up and it whips up and it whips up, and it gets more and more kind of like densely packed with kind of musical protein. It just sounds gorgeous. It's like rolling waves rolling over you and taking you forward with it. I think people will be completely stirred up by it in the best possible way. Then it will come straight back to them, and I think the parallels will be so obvious. No one will need to bang them over the head to see what have you just seen happen and how does it relate to us. I think everyone will go figure.